Welcome back, everybody. Let's have a look at some of these coins. We'll look at XRP, we're going to look at Bitcoin. Interesting day today, very interesting. So this morning, whether or not you took profit or not, you should still be technically in significant profit regardless of what you bought, I would imagine. However, it might be time to think about taking some profit. Now, I'll tell you the reason why. So we're looking at this dominance chart right now. So we bounce pretty much exactly on the center of this Bollinger Band, right? So we can't get over the fact that that is a significant bounce, and you can tell from the way that the alts have reacted to that. Look at the state of XRP. Now, I'm not, I'm not slagging off XRP at all, but that is a 20% drop from that wick to the price action where we're at right now, and it's likely to come back down even more than that. So you've seen my analysis on XRP. You know that what I believe is most likely to happen is a trickle-down situation from wherever we are. Let's just say that this was the top, which it almost certainly is for now. We're going to trickle down until we hit what would be the 200 exponential, wherever that might be. Whether that looks a little bit like that, depending if the price action comes down more, which I probably imagine it will, bringing us into around about, it'll be the 30s where I'd imagine our next bounce to be. There is another scenario that could play out on top of that, to be honest with you. What could happen, which could make things worse, is if Bitcoin decides to actually correct itself, sparking a downtrend in the market, which is something that's possible and is kind of overdue. Now the thing is with Bitcoin, unlike XRP, so if we have a look at the Bitcoin money flow index, it's got room to move on that, plenty of room to move on that. Doesn't really say that there's likely to be or should be at this stage of correction. The MACD is turning back up again, and the RSI has still got room to move as well. So Bitcoin could still have a decent move in it. It could reach 20,000. It could do that. In my opinion, it's likely to be front run before that happens, but it could still overshoot. When I've been looking at a lot of these other charts, so XRP and Ethereum, the tops on those guys, the what should be considered to be the actual tops have been overshot massively. So what they initially do is there'll be people like me, I suppose, sort of taking profit, closing longs at these resistance zones, because that's I suppose the right thing to do. And then on top of that, then you got all this other money, this new money, I suppose, and this FOMO kicking in afterwards, causing giant spikes. So XRP is a prime example of that right now. It shouldn't have hit here, and if we look at the money flow index on this occasion, we can just see how high that is, and it's not very often it gets this high, but when it does get high, this kind of looks very similar to this move here. This was a giant move, pretty much taking us to the same kind of wick zone there, more or less, and then we spent, and this is a different part of the cycle, by the way, but then we spent a vast amount of our time sort of consolidating from that, because the money flow index shouldn't ever really get this high. It's always a sell signal when it gets this high. This one's a sell signal, and this is basically a sell signal too. On top of that, the RSI has gone through the roof, and the MACD, that is, I don't think I've seen a MACD look like that in a very, very long time. So anyway, the party's over, I think, with XRP, and that's fine. We're okay with that. And now I think it's time for that consolidation period to take place, which is likely to happen over a period of a month, 6 weeks, or maybe even longer. So yeah, it's true, I've got shorts on XRP now. That's fine, that's okay. It's not that I don't believe in what's my original analysis. Remember, the call that I made was for a long-term hold, and even though that kicked in almost immediately and caused a massive run of like 100%, over 100%, it's probably about 130% from that signal. So that signal was an epic signal, but that signal also signified buy here, hold, wait till later, everything should be okay. And as far as I can work out, we're not going to get an opposing cross to that anytime soon. So that's XRP, and all eyes are on Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin going to reject at these areas? Is this the level that it's going to get hit at? It might not reach 20,000. The only reason I say that is because there are a few wicks up here at the $20,000 zone where it could be rejected from. But given the way that money has been entering the market recently in silly proportions, causing massive FOMOs, I think that there is a chance now that what we'll do is we'll break 20,000. We'll shoot up overextend and then have a correction of a lifetime. Basically, I don't think it's going to be a bear market for a great deal of time, but I do think it's likely to come back down to test this trend line wherever that may be at the time. So if we did overshoot 20,000, we go into 21, 22, 23, wherever that might be, then we'll see something similar to XRP where we have a massive wick like that, and then we'll consolidate like what I'm expecting to see with XRP, and the consolidation could be considered a small bear market, and that bear market will have sort of pumps and dumps within it. But I think at this point, at that point, if that were to happen, which I think it is likely to happen, what we'll see is eventually test this trend line, and it is an upwards facing trend line. So if this bear market took place through December, perhaps maybe into December, into January, so we'll measure this out right now, so that would be January, we could be looking at retracing all the way down to about $14,000, and that's okay. That's okay. So long as we're above this trend line, everything's fine. So I'm talking long-term things here. I'm not talking immediate things. So if you want to know the immediate things, it's essentially, I do think that Bitcoin's going to push up. Alts seem to be taking a hit at the moment. So alts are sort of sinking a little bit in anticipation, I would imagine, for this dip, or should I say this pump and then essentially a dump. So it's not really the time, I'd say, to be holding on to anything right now. It's really also not the time to be shorting unless you've got a good position. The cleverest, probably the best thing you could hope to do would be to wait for this wick to go, then wait for a massive pullback, wait for it to level off for a little bit, and then quite quickly I would imagine there'd be some decent moves to the up again, trying to reclaim some of those areas. I don't think it's going to be possible. I'd be very surprised if XRP manages to reclaim this wick anytime soon. This year, for instance, I don't think that's likely to happen this year. I think that'll be it for now. We're going to consolidate for a period, and I think that's what's on the cards for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to go up and consolidate for a period as well. So that is the deal with those two bad boys. It doesn't mean that alt season's over, but at the moment it does look like we're looking for, I suppose, maybe a market kind of crash, unfortunately. So try and take your profits. I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice. Do what you want to do, okay? Just be careful, all right? That's all I've got to say. Just be careful. There is still plenty of money to be made on these moves. It's just going to be a bit harder to play them, that's all. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy.